Philip Kennedy Johnson, Sean Lewis, Scott Godlewski, and Sam Bassari conclude Superman and Jimmy Olsen's adventures as the Man of Steel and his son confront the Shadowbreed army and the One Who Fell, and Jimmy Olsen's team deal with Projectress and the hero-turned-villain Loose Cannon, with only Bibbo Bibowski the only one who can stop them both. Philip Kennedy Johnson brilliantly finishes off his very brief run on the Superman book as the book as it is comes to an end to make way for the Superman Son of Kal-El book in a couple of weeks. I thoroughly enjoyed this one final adventure with Clark and John, and Clark's overall message delivered in the form of a journal entry to his son was utterly brilliant and really well written by Johnson. It perfectly echoes what I've been saying ever since Brian Michael Bendis aged John up, in that he is literally the same character in every way, despite everything he went through except for his height. I enjoyed Johnson's parallels with Bacchus and his own father as well, and how he was treated, and I can't help it but feel like it's some sort of commentary on the outraged fans who hated the age up, seeing as Bacchus's father demanded he conform to a certain way, and that be the only way, with any deviation from that being seen as some major slight or some sort of insult. If that was what the message was intended, I really enjoyed that sort of parallel between the characters and what was happening in real life. Sean Lewis, after a lackluster last installment to his Tales of Metropolis storyline, makes up for it here with an aptly named Redemption storyline finishing up here. Bibbo is written here as a competent yet bumbling guy, which he is and which he should be, and while the last portion of the book is slightly waved off as it was all mind control sort of thing, I enjoyed Bibbo owning up to the fact that he messed up. Bibbo also talking down the villains was really quite great and a lot of fun, as was him finding the inspiration for his article and realizing that Metropolis is strong even without Superman, and its people are strong thanks to Superman. Having it all wrap up here was quite satisfying, but it also leaves it in a place where the team that was cobbled together for the book with Steel and Loose Cannon and Gangbuster could be seen again in some form, and I'd love them to be. I'd like this little team to become sort of Metropolis's protectors whenever Superman has to go off with the Justice League on a big mission or something. That'd be a lot of fun. Scott Godlewski and Sam Bassari both did a fantastic job finishing up their respective stories, filling both with action, but of different types of action, with the Superman story focusing on a more traditional punching and kicking, physical action, where Sam's action was a bit more character focused and character drama and stuff like that, meaning we get a good variety of both. The only downside I have is that Godlewski's final page didn't look really right, and it was mainly down to Superman and Superboy's faces looking really strange and out of place. Superman issue 32 was a fantastic action-adventure conclusion to Clark Kent's portion of the Superman mythos for now, but not the end of course, delivering a heartfelt passing of the torch in a unique and creative way. I'm going to give this issue a 9.5 out of 10. Superman issue 32 finds Superboy speeding across the planet to save his father and the people as Clark's journal entry continues, remembering a saying by the Thakramites that when iron meets iron, it's sharpened, and when iron meets a soft heart, it is pierced, and no one embodied that more than Kwarath O'Danim, but all feared him, even his own son. Danim would often beat his own son since Bacchus fell short of his expectations, and should the boy succeed him, he would be challenged and killed and their legacy destroyed. Clark knows that they soon learned Bacchus was more interested in knowledge than strength, something which the species knows was a weakness. Danim confronts Faldir, the scientist who has been teaching his son, demanding to know what the man has done, so the scientist says that the world may never fear the Shadowbreed again, showing him an orb containing the monsters. Danim threatens to take Faldir's head for his treachery, but the scientist knows without him they would have been weaponless should the Shadowbreed return, as Bacchus says that they have returned, regretting the day Faldir came to their world. Danim grabs his son and holds him over a cliff, saying Faldir is to take the Shadowbreed and his son and leave the planet since Bacchus is unfit to rule or bear his name. Bacchus knows that he'll go gladly since all Danim does is speak of his own bravery and nothing else, but where is it now since Faldir and he mastered the Shadowbreed, which makes him a coward? The king knocks the orb from his hands, smashing it on the ground and letting the Shadowbreed free, which instantly instantly infects Valdir. The Shadowbreed can hear the voices screaming as they push the king from the cliff, killing him before taking his son. Valdir says that the prince has done a great service to them and he'll be of great use, since if he serves them, they will serve him, and he need not worry about challenges now. Danim, however, before he dies, manages to activate the signal Superman heard, calling out for the hero to come back, as in the present, Superboy saves a young child from the one who fell, as the being rises from the canyon along with the Shadowbreed. John calls for his father as the villain says that Superman is one of them now, as are all the Thakram, and all will be in time. The one who fell fires on Superboy, but the hero attacks, blasting through the giant robot's head, saying only an idiot bets against his father or him. Superboy assaults the robot but is grabbed by the Shadowbreed, who say they have faced many warriors and champions and all their strength is now theirs. As the monsters grab at Superboy, a red light begins building inside the body of the giant, until Superman bursts from the robot, grabbing his son and flying away, telling him that they are okay since he thinks Kryptonians are tougher prey than the Shadowbreed are used to. Clark tells his son that he was in the thing's mind and knows that everything and anything that the Shadowbreed has taken over is still alive, meaning it has billions imprisoned and they were all screaming. Superman wants to free them all so the Shadowbreed can't claim one more life, as the parasites say that the son of Krypton doesn't have enough strength to stop them, as the infected Valdir arrives on a flying monster, telling the heroes that Valdir is theirs and everything else is of no consequence, since everything living will be theirs when the sun rises, and they leave this world and rejoin the rest of the Shadowbreed in the stars. Valdir is clipped by Bacchus, who pilots a ship around the villain. He tells Superboy that the radiation bomb that was used against the Shadowbreed was inspired by Superman's heat vision, telling John of the spectrum it uses. Valdir thinks that the prince has forgotten his place, intending on killing him, as Superboy wonders what he meant by the hyperviolet spectrum. Superman says that it's a spectrum between ultraviolet and X-ray, but his heat vision doesn't have that kind of nuance, but John's does, and this is how they win. John knows that he could hurt his father in the process, but Superman tells him that they can do this as he hits the giant with a stone pillar. John powers up his heat vision but can't focus it enough, but his father knows that he can. John blasts the Shadowbreed with the heat vision, disrupting the parasites as Superman keeps beating the robot down and stopping it from leaving the planet. John finally finds the right spectrum, tapping into it and unleashing it in a blue wave on the Shadowbreed, who are obliterated, disappearing in the light and leaving the robot corpse dead yet again. In the smoke, John finds the much-alive Thakramites, as Clark's journal details how when the sun came up, they left, saying goodbye to the freed Valdir and the others, learning that the scientist is going back to his homeworld along with Bacchus. Clark knows that Danim had been an exile himself before becoming a warrior king, and now his son would find his own path and a people who would more understand him better. Clark had thought that Bacchus had been through it all and how fortunate he was at the boy's age with the best parents he could ever hope for. But then he thought of John and what he went through after leaving Earth and how he was tested in many ways Clark couldn't have handled at his age. But when he came back, he was still the same compassionate, happy kid that he was when he left, meaning John must have great resilience and it defies all understanding. Clark knows that he and Lois will miss the little boy they lost, but the next time John ever wonders if he measures up or if he thinks himself as just the son of Superman, he needs to know that he will be the Superman against whom all heroes will be measured someday by, and the Superman Clark aspires to be. In the Daily Planet, Jimmy Olsen learns from Gangbuster that Loose Cannon didn't kill her to teach her a lesson, knowing he thought that she was being too hard on Division. Jimmy wonders if she was, but Gangbuster wonders if he's a cop now. She says that they are at war now and Bibbo invited Projectress into their city. Jimmy knows that Bibbo is aware of his mistake, as the man says that he can speak for himself, owning up to the mistake. He remembers taking down some jerk outside his bar who had been bad-mouthing Superman, beating him out of the bar and reminding him of the bar rule, no saying stupid stuff. Soon Dolores came to see him and Bibbo knows that she wasn't some Projectress, it was just some woman that kept him up at night. She immediately takes him in under her spell, brought into the bar where she says that she wants to get ahead in the universe and wants his help, wanting to be introduced to Superman. Bibbo knows that that's when all hell broke loose and Loose Cannon went on the run. Bibbo apologizes, but Jimmy knows that they will find him, but they probably won't need him for this. Bibbo heads home defeated, breaking up two guys fighting over footage of heroes battling one another. One of the men says that he reads Bibbo's articles, calling them crap. Bibbo knows that about sums up everything he was thinking about himself. But he doesn't give up though, heading to the Dark Metropolis' speakeasy, where he hears men talking about a beautiful vision of a woman. A man says that the woman wants the underbosses to cause a ruckus to get Superman alone so she can mess with his head. Bibbo shows a picture of Dolores to one of the men, but they think that Bibbo is a cop, telling him to get lost. As Bibbo threatens the man, a crowder arrives from the shadows, pulling Bibbo into the shadow void, scaring the drunken men in the bar. A crowder wants to know why Bibbo was there in the bar trying to meet with Projectress again, but he says he wasn't as they arrive in the abandoned hangar. Finding loose cannon, says that he's still got Projectress's dust in his mind and it's making him delirious, and she put it in the note she gave Ambush Bug. Meaning when Jimmy read it, he thought that there was a big clue waiting for them and she used the dust to make Cannon try and kill Gangbuster. The woman wants to know from Bibbo how to stop her since he knows her best, but he knows that once the dust gets in your eyes, she can control what you see. A crater thinks it's useless, but then Bibbo turns off the lights, knowing if they bring her to a crater, they can beat her, since they can't see the dust if they're covered in shadows. The big night soon arrives as Bibbo continues writing his article about how he was Projectress's main target in Metropolis, as a crater arrives with Jimmy, knowing that they are ready. Jimmy says that Steel and Gangbuster are in the hangar ready as Bibbo finishes up. He tells the heroes that he told Projectress where Loose Cannon was, and if she got him, only Superman could stop him. Jimmy questions his plan about keeping the dust away from the light, but Bibbo doesn't know anything about light refraction like Jimmy said, but they just need to put her in the dark since Metropolis is as good as gone if she gets Loose Cannon and others like him. Later, Bibbo confronts Projectress in the hangar, unhappy that they had to sacrifice Loose Cannon to her since they couldn't get the dust out of his system, and while he doesn't feel good about it, they brought Steel along just in case Loose Cannon gets violent. As the team talk about the garbage plan, Projectress makes her presence known, saying that she picked Bibbo because he's pure of heart, just like Superman, and if she can corrupt him, it would be a practice run for when she does Superman, because with every person who she takes under her dust, she gets stronger. She knows because he's trustworthy, his friends would soon follow as the heroes surround the villain. Loose Cannon appears, telling the heroes that they are to leave Dolores alone, and they abandoned him to her. Steel says that they couldn't get him extracted in time, and it was the only way to get to her. Jimmy says that he will look after their team as Bibbo goes for Projectress, who tells Cannon to murder the heroes. Bibbo tells a crater to stick to the shadows as he follows the woman up some stairs. Projectress says that Bibbo must love her if he's trying to get her alone. She unleashes her dust, making Bibbo see the life he had with Dolores, and the life he still can have with her. As he heads up the stairs, Bibbo smashes the hallway's light, plunging the room into darkness and allowing a crater to leap from the shadows and knock Projectress out. Bibbo is still upset with the outcome, but he knows he was stupid to think they could ever have a life together. A crater kisses him on the cheek, saying that he actually deserves more than her. The other heroes meanwhile managed to overwhelm the weakened Loose Cannon, who was soon taken out of Projectress' spell thanks to her being knocked out, making him see reason as to why the team used him as bait. He shakes Gangbuster's hand, apologizing to the hero for what he did. The next day, all of the heroes debrief as Bibbo finishes his article, knowing they were all brought together to deal with a threat to the city, one he couldn't see until he was in his darkest place. Bibbo compliments Jimmy overseeing the team, wondering if Superman would have been proud of them. Jimmy knows that this was all Bibbo's doing, and he thinks Superman would have been proud of him, as the man knows doing what they can to fight through the darkness is who they are, since that's Metropolis.